All right, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about a perfect horror movie. Child's Play 2 perfected the horror formula. If you want to learn how to make a perfect horror film with no fluff, under 90 minutes, and a sequel that's better than the original, look no further than this movie. If I was a professor and I had to teach my students how to write a horror film, this would be the script I would make mandatory for all of them to study. The main reason I would advocate this film script so much is because of how concise it is. It is straight to the point and very direct in its storytelling. Chucky is back from the dead, still trying to switch bodies with Andy, who of course does not want this to happen, all the while introducing my favorite character in the franchise, Kyle, setting the standard on who Chucky would be for the rest of the franchise and having memorable kills as well as, one-liners. This movie is an example of how to be simple but impactful. I also realized I have never covered a Chucky movie, which is surprising as I love the Child's Play films. So I plan to right my wrongs starting with Child's Play 2. I'm going to just be glazing this movie. Just prepare yourself for that. This film begins with an opening credits depicting the reconstruction of the good guy doll, which uses the same skeleton as the one possessed by Charles Lee Ray. There's information being told to us during the opening credits instead of them being a waste of time, which they usually are. Even Seven, one of my favorite movies of all time, has an opening credits I could live without. It doesn't take long for Chucky to come to life and start taking hostages. He manages to get Andy's information from this dude and then he kills him, who I feel bad for as he had a hot date waiting on him. He arrives and destroys and buries the good guy doll used by his foster parents to help Andy get over his trauma. Speaking of which, let's meet them. This is the mom, who is generally nice and a good mom, I would say, and this is the dad, who seems to be against taking in Andy as he is always negative about the situation. Why take him in at all if you're gonna be a bitch about it? And this is Kyle, also another foster kid they have taken in, who is the epitome of cool. Look at her smoking these cigarettes. So cool. Almost immediately, Chucky starts being a nuisance and begins breaking shit in the house, which obviously gets blamed on Andy. Then we get the funniest scene in the movie as Chucky reveals himself to Andy and ties him to the bed, all freaky like. Kyle and the parents walk in thinking that he's having some sort of episode. Sometime later, little Andy goes to his new school, and while at recess, Chucky takes the opportunity to write profanities on his paper directed at the teacher, which I know gets Andy in detention. Andy leaves after locking Chucky in the closet. The teacher then gets killed with a ruler. I'm pretty sure she got a heart attack too. Andy has had it with Chucky and decided to take things in his own hands. He searches for him in the basement and actually puts in a good fight, but it is all ruined when the dad comes in and gets himself killed. One of my least favorite characters, now dead. Did he deserve to die? No. And my guy is dead? Yes. Looking like a little lunatic, he gets sent back to the foster program. Kyle swings her feet, eventually uncovering the very good guy doll. She realizes Andy was right and is not crazy, then goes check out on her mother, who is now dead too. Chucky continues his rampage of holding people hostage, adding Kyle to that list. He forces her to take him to Andy. She almost escapes his clutches a couple times, but Chucky is a crafty vet and stays by her side no matter how hard she tries to escape him. But she eventually does. At the foster program, this woman dies. Chucky successfully grabs Andy into this newspaper truck. Kyle follows them into one of the best locations for a horror film. This good guy doll toy making factory. Such a genius idea. Chucky does not waste any time and begins his chant. The sky changes, there's lightning, which gives away their location. The spell does not work though. Chucky has been in the doll body for far too long and is fucking losing it. Before anything happens to Andy, Kyle rushes towards them, throwing all of these duplicates on him. Kyle and Andy reach this ramp thing. Kyle makes it up and Andy freaking chokes it and slips down where a waiting Chucky tries to stab him. Chucky then starts to climb, almost reaching Andy, but it is saved by Kyle. Chucky gets his hand ripped off with in this nasty way, and you can see there's a bunch of guts. And who is the sick man that thought of this? Putting human organs on a doll. I love it though. Chucky does his best Ash from the Evil Dead impression. This poor dude dies in a goofy manner. Chucky gets tortured in what looks like to be his end here, but as once said in Scream, they always come back. Actually, that was even said in this franchise at one point.
I'll be back. I always come back.
And so Chucky does his best Johnny Got His Gun impression, but a Chucky with no legs has no chance with this dynamic duo as they melt him. They literally just throw a bunch of hot, whatever liquid this is. And of course, Chucky comes back for one more good scare, then gets blown up. The end. Now, what I really love about this movie is his lack of stereotypes. Even the ones here have a twist to them that separates them from the pack. There's no stupid teenagers here. And in fact, the one teenager that we do get here is really smart, and she helps save the day at the end of the movie. This movie did a great job diverting from the typical horror formula in small ways while at the same time following its best cliches, such as the killer coming back over and over again. This is a good example of horror movies should do in the third act that you would think would be a staple of the drama, but it just isn't. The third act should be a climax of the story, the pinnacle of the mountain. There should be ebbs and flows. The fate of the characters should always be up in the air. And sometimes it just doesn't feel like the characters are in any danger as a lot of these horror movies are franchises and they're gonna make a number two, number three, number four, number five, number six. and I don't feel in danger for them. Where in this movie, I really felt as in Andy and Kyle were in danger the whole time. And yeah, that's a perfect horror movie, Child's Play 2. Thank you for watching.